Welcome to Cinepro, where endings are just the start. Explore gripping tales of survival and life's final moments. The movie opens in Free City with a figure descending from the sky wearing sunglasses. In this city, we discover that people who wear sunglasses possess superpowers, and they live by their own rules, doing whatever they please without fear of consequences since the laws don't apply to them. This individual proceeds to shoot at the police, smashing their cars, and easily escapes because no one can challenge him. Next, we're introduced to Guy, an ordinary man who starts his daily routine in the morning. He heads to work at the bank, wearing the only suit he owns. Despite living in a city where crime runs rampant, Guy still has a deep love for his hometown. He grabs his usual coffee and meets up with Buddy, his close friend, who works as a security guard at the bank. The two witnesses a robbery right before their eyes. This isn't anything new to them, as these crimes happen every day. Guy remains cheerful, even amidst all the chaos, because he believes he has everything he needs, except one thing: the love of his life. He had convinced himself that finding true love was something he would never experience. Suddenly, a group of criminals bursts into the bank, and Buddy, who should have been taking action, instead drops his weapon and sits down next to Guy. Together, they wait for the robbery to end while casually chatting about girls. Guy describes his perfect woman, revealing the deep longing he has for something more meaningful in his life. In the meantime, we meet Molotov, a woman who also wears sunglasses, signaling that she's one of the city's superheroes. She's seen talking to a man about a map she needs, and after taking it from him, she kills him effortlessly. She then walks through the busy city streets, headed toward her next destination. We return to the present, where Keys returns to his house and is shocked to find Millie there. She's furious with him for working at Antoine's company, accusing him of betraying their work. It turns out that Antoine stole the programming and game concept from both Keys and Millie without compensating them. Despite this, Keys has convinced himself that it wasn't theft, just a coincidence of ideas. Millie, however, disagrees, telling him Antoine took their idea and watered it down into a silly game. She questions how he can work for a company that stole their creation. Millie urges him to join her in seeking revenge on Antoine, but Keys refuses, unwilling to risk his job. With no other choice, Millie resolves to continue her mission alone. The next day, after waking up, Keys promises that things will change. He decides to wear different clothes, marking a break from his old self. Meanwhile, Millie is playing with her character, Molotov, planning to go to a castle on a map she previously discovered. Inside the castle, she's met with heavy security. Suddenly, Guy arrives beside her. Millie is immediately suspicious and knocks him down, demanding to know who he is. Guy explains that he was simply watching her from the train and wanted to get to know her. Suddenly, the guards begin shooting at them, and a gunfight ensues. Millie pulls out a weapon and opens a portal to another location, leading them to her weapon stash. Guy is shocked by the sheer volume of weapons and motorcycles she has hidden. Millie, thinking a real player is controlling Guy, doesn't realize that Guy is a non-playable character, NPC, in the game, and no one is actually playing him. Guy expresses his desire to help her with her mission, but Millie tells him it's not possible unless his character level is high, like hers, at level 195. Guy, however, is still at level 1. He asks how he can increase his level. Millie tells him he needs to complete missions, take down enemies, and collect their money. Guy refuses to kill anyone, stating that he could never harm an innocent person. Millie is taken aback by his response and suggests an alternative. He could help people by stopping robberies and murders, and even stealing weapons from the bad guys. She promises that once Guy reaches level 100, she'll allow him to help her on her mission. Guy reluctantly agrees and leaves. The next day, Guy heads out into the street, puts on the glasses, and begins his missions. After getting shot and dying, he wakes up perfectly fine the next day, realizing that death in this game doesn't mean the end for him. Guy performs various good deeds and missions, helping people and gaining attention. At first, the other players in the game ignore Guy, thinking he's just another NPC. However, as Guy's actions continue, he becomes more popular in the real world. Players start noticing him because of his unexpected good deeds and the way he's outperforming other players. Guy's popularity soars, and soon everyone in the game is talking about him. Kids even begin dressing like him. As Guy progresses, his character becomes more skilled in combat, and he reaches level 102. One day, he goes to see his friend Buddy, who scolds him for not coming to the bank for a while. Guy tells Buddy about his encounters with the girl he likes and explains his newfound powers with the glasses. He offers Buddy the chance to join him on his missions and explore life, but Buddy refuses, sticking to his usual routine of drinking the same coffee and going to work every day. Feeling rejected, Guy leaves Buddy behind and goes to see Keys. Keys thought carefully about Millie's words, and Millie decided to sneak into the castle again. Keys, having agreed to help her, communicated with her through the earpiece, tweaking the game's settings and opening the door for her. He warned her she had 5 minutes before any players would reach her. Millie entered the garage, and Keys directed her to the left, where the tape she sought was located. She grabbed the tape and was about to leave, but then the alarm went off because of the theft. The guards appeared and knocked the tape from her hands. Millie tried to hide and fight back, but she failed, and soon the guards surrounded her. Just then, Guy showed up and easily broke into the area, taking down the guards with ease. Millie was surprised to see him and was about to retrieve the tape, but more guards, now armed with samurai swords, arrived. Millie told Guy to be careful not to die as the battle began. Guy managed to take down the samurai, but Keys, on the outside, wondered who Millie was talking to, as he couldn't see anyone else with her. Despite being confused, Guy was impressed with how strongly Millie fought and admired her more. Just as someone was about to strike him, Guy quickly took action and dealt with the threat. They both then jumped on a motorcycle, with Millie shooting down the guards with her guns. However, more guards appeared, forcing Guy to move and escape with Millie. Despite their efforts, Millie didn't manage to get the tape. Back in the real world, Antoine arrived at his company, instructing the employees to upgrade Free City with a new update. The goal was to make Guy a playable character, and they had 2 days to complete the update. Antoine wanted to capitalize on the popularity that Guy had brought to the game. Meanwhile, Keys was left trying to figure out who Guy really was. We return to Guy, who takes Millie to his personal stash filled with cars and weapons similar to those Millie had. He proudly tells her that he followed her advice and raised his level. Millie is astonished that Guy managed to do all that in such a short amount of time, and asks him who he is in the real world and what he does for work. Guy, however, is confused by her question and insists that his name is Guy and he works at a bank. Millie laughs, thinking he's joking. Guy then takes her out for ice cream, and they walk together. Over time, Millie starts to like Guy's true personality and wants to meet him in the real world. She still doesn't realize that Guy is just a secondary character within the game, not a real person. As they spend more time together, Guy admits that he loves her, and they share a kiss. Millie falls in love with Guy, and she tells him her real name, expressing her wish to meet him in the real world. However, she eventually walks away, leaving Guy behind. At that moment, Keys finally unravels Guy's programming and learns the story behind this character. He rushes to meet Millie, telling her that she was right. Antoine had stolen their programming and artificial intelligence. He explains that Guy's character is evolving and becoming self-aware, acting with his own mind thanks to the very artificial intelligence they created. This new development proves that their ideas were indeed stolen. Millie is happy to hear this confirmation, but is also devastated to learn that Guy is not a real person, but rather just a product of AI. She confesses that she kissed him and now feels betrayed that her first kiss was with a character from a game. Keys informs Millie of the bigger problem at hand. Antoine has ordered the company to release a new update for Free City within the next 2 days. This update will turn Guy from a non-playable character, NPC, into a playable character for gamers. This would completely alter Guy's code, and they would lose the evidence of Antoine's theft. Keys urges Millie to act fast. They have 48 hours to prove that Antoine stole their work, and to stop Guy from disappearing due to the update. Feeling deeply hurt, Guy refuses to believe her. He thought everything he experienced with Millie was real, and now it turns out to be nothing but an illusion. He runs away, distraught. He heads to the beach, throws a stone into the water, and tries to come to terms with the painful truth. But when he reaches the water, he discovers a barrier separating him from it. He realizes that the sea is not real, just like everything else. He screams and runs back to the city, telling the people that this world is all fake. At this point, Guy is left in a state of turmoil, struggling to comprehend what he has learned about his existence. His world is crumbling, and he faces a dilemma. Is there a way to escape this fake world, or is he destined to disappear when the game update takes effect? The clock is ticking, and Millie must find a way to help him before it's too late. Guy has an accident, and 2 cars hit him. After recovering from the injury, he goes to Buddy's apartment and asks him what he would do if he discovered he was not a real person. Buddy tells him it's okay. I won't be upset as long as I am happy and living my life the way I want. And I also have a friend and a job. Guy is motivated after hearing this and asks for his help in breaking into the castle to get the video and give it to Millie. Buddy agrees, and they go to the castle and manage to enter the place easily because Buddy knows the castle guards and befriends the place. It turns out he is a real person and a fan of Guy. And because Guy does not like to harm people, he asks this player for the videotape. The player tells him, I am a big fan of yours and love you. Take anything you want from here, and gives Guy the videotape. The real player of this character was upset with his mother in the real world because she was cleaning the apartment and making noise, And when he shouts in reality, he also shouts in the game. Guy and Buddy are surprised by his behavior and leave, and Guy goes to Millie to give her the tape. But at that time, Millie hadn't opened her computer, so the Molotov character was still and not moving. Guy was very worried about her and asked her to wake up. After a few seconds, Millie moves, and he gives her the tape. And of course, she is very happy. In the real world, people are more affected by Guy and decide to do good missions instead of theft and murder missions, and they took Guy as a role model. Antoine enters the company very angry because the players, because of their love for Guy, forgot that there is a game update and are playing with the old update, and sales in the company have decreased by 60%. He insists on restarting the game server so that Guy returns to being a non-playable character and does not act on his own. Keyes objects and tells him you are destroying the first character made with artificial intelligence. Antoine says it doesn't matter as long as he loses me money. We get rid of him, and orders the server to be restarted from scratch. At the same time, Millie and Guy are sitting together watching the videotape, and when Millie watches, she realizes that the place in the video is what she and Keyes created themselves for the game, and thus this is evidence that Antoine stole their programming of the place and put it in the game. Guy, when he sees the place, tells her, "I have seen this place before," and Millie is surprised and asks him where he saw it. But before Guy speaks, Mouser presses to restart the game, and Guy sees Millie and all the characters not moving. So he is shocked and did not understand what is happening, and he goes out to the street and sees everything being erased, and all the players in the world, and Millie, are shocked. When the game restarts, Guy wakes up from sleep but does not remember anything because the programming started anew, and he starts his routine day very normally. Millie comes to him and talks to him, but he does not remember her, and she tries to remind him of the place she saw in the video, but Guy tells her, "I do not remember." And Millie feels she is in trouble because the game data has been erased, so no one knows the place in the videotape except Guy, and she tries to remember the memories they lived together. But Guy still does not remember and leaves her and walks away. Millie is upset and thinks there is no hope, but then Keyes calls Millie and tells her not to worry. "I reviewed Guy's programming and discovered that the reboot did not erase the artificial intelligence code of Guy, meaning the Guy character you know is still there. He just needs to remember what he lived before so his personality can develop and return to what it was." Keyes reviews with her Guy's behavior and that in his programming he wants to meet his dream girl, and Keyes tells her, "I made Guy's dream girl specifications the same as yours. So when Guy saw you for the first time in Free City by chance, he felt he was not himself and started doing things he was not used to doing just to talk to you, to the point that he seemed like a human capable of thinking, and you can certainly do with him what happened before." So Millie decides to break into the bank where Guy works and takes him hostage, puts on sunglasses for him, and kisses him. And here Guy remembers all the memories they lived together, and thus Millie succeeded in reminding him. Guy takes her home and shows her that the place in the tape is reflected on the curtains, so Millie understands that Antoine hid the Live Itself game world but forgo to hide the reflection of their game world, and she also realizes that the Live Itself game world still exists, but no one can see it. She concludes that it must be behind the sea because that is the only place no one can reach. She goes to talk to Keyes and tells him everything. He informs her that Antoine has set up a network preventing players from reaching the sea, and to cross it, they need a bridge. They both agree on a plan. Millie instructs Guy to gather all the secondary characters at the sea, telling them that they must be tired of the repetitive life and the daily crimes. She encourages them to change their world and become the characters they want to be. The people become excited by Guy's words and agree to break free from the control. On the same day, when a player enters the bank to rob it, he finds no one around. All the NPCs are gone, and the players in the streets are surprised because there are no NPCs, as they are all with Guy in the cafe. The waitress begins making drinks other than the usual coffee, and the players start complaining. Antoine tries to figure out what is happening and discovers that Millie is in the game, frequently meeting with Guy, and they are the cause of the changes. He orders Mouser to kill Millie and Guy in the game. Mouser points out that the army and the police in the game are already aligned with Guy and like him. Antoine decides to change the codes of the game and orders Mouser to kill them in any way possible. Mouser attempts to do this by making the buildings and the road move to kill Millie and Guy, also canceling the respawn feature, meaning that a player who dies won't come back to life. Guy, while driving and trying to escape, is helped by Keyes, who creates a bridge in the road. Guy manages to escape miraculously. Antoine grows angry, realizing they are headed for the beach. He orders the release of a character named Dude, though Dude's character is not yet fully completed. Meanwhile, Guy and Millie reach the beach and wait for Keys to build the bridge. Antoine confronts Keys and says, "I understand what you're trying to do. You want to get evidence that I stole your game from you." Keys plays dumb and responds, "You didn't steal the game from us? So how is our game inside your game?" Antoine admits that he did steal their game and tells Keys that he is fired. Keys doesn't care, presses a button, and makes the bridge appear. Mouser makes Antoine watch as the bridge is built in the game. Then Antoine folds, walks away, and shuts down all the accounts in the game, expelling all the players. As Mouser does this, Millie's character starts to disappear, but Guy remains present since he's a secondary character. Guy is now forced to complete the mission alone. As Keys is leaving the company, he arranges for Guy to appear in a live broadcast for the world to see. The goal is for the world to know that Antoine is a thief and stole their game. The world watches as Guy gets ready to move, but before he can do so, Dude appears. Dude, a copy of Guy with muscles, strength, and good looks, starts attacking Guy. Guy attempts to escape, but Dude easily overpowers him, knocks him down, and is merciless with his attacks. The people in the real world are upset for Guy, witnessing his struggle. Dude prepares to deal the fatal blow to Guy, but Guy puts on the glasses that had fallen from him. This activates Captain America's shield to block Dude's hit. Guy then activates Hulk's hand power, hitting Dude and sending him flying. The crowd is amazed by Guy's newfound power. Guy uses a first aid kit to heal himself and then activates a lightsaber to attack Dude. Dude, still unsure of how to block the blow, tries to grab Guy and transport him to another place, but Dude is still strong. The fight continues, and Dude is about to kill Guy when Buddy gets back up, throws the glasses to Guy, and instead of Guy putting them on, he hands the glasses to Dude. Dude begins to spit out the things that appear to him when he puts on the glasses. He leaves Guy and starts spreading the things that appear, bewildering everyone. Then Guy and Buddy go to the bridge, and Antoine resorts to the last solution, which is to destroy the game servers. When Keys finds out about this, he sends a message to Millie, telling her to go to Tsunami Company and try to stop Antoine. Antoine destroys the first server in Free City, causing the characters to start disappearing. Guy sees his dear friend Buddy die, and Buddy tells him, "That was the best day of my life, and I had the honor of knowing you." Guy, devastated, runs and crosses the barrier before it's erased, reaching the game life itself. He loves the game immensely. Antoine is about to destroy the last server, aiming to erase Guy, life itself, and the rest of the characters. However, Millie arrives just in time and asks Antoine to give her the remaining part of the game, Free City, along with its characters. In return, she promises to allow him